All right, welcome back. So you might have seen this yesterday. Kamala Harris back in the spotlight, at least for a little bit, delivering a 2-minute pre-recorded message at a youth voter summit. Madeline Rivera is joining us live with more on this. Hi, Madeline.
Hey, Bill.
Seeley, pause right there. Kamala Harris makes a brief appearance with a motivational tone. But did you feel that? It's vague, inspiring, sure. But is it strategy or just symbolic cheerleading? Drop a comment. Does this speech actually say anything new, or is it all just recycled hope?
Oh, and born out of our love for our country, keep fighting to build a country and a nation that works for everyone. And I look forward to continuing in the fight alongside you.
So there are many questions over whether Harris will run for a California governor or whether she'll run for president again in 2028. She's reportedly expected to make a decision by the end of the summer. A lot of Democrats are excited to see her back in the spotlight, but the party overall is...
While Harris might be hinting at a future run, the DNC's financial situation is another story. $50 million cash on hand sounds like a lot, until you realize the RNC is sitting on $80 million. That's not just a cash gap, that's a campaign warfare problem.
Cash on hand compared to the RNC's $80 million. But former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who also spoke at yesterday's event, believes they have time to rebuild before the midterms.
When we won in 06, we won in 05. We had our preparation ready a year in advance. When we won in 18, we had our plan and our preparation in 17. We are going to win next year because we are going to be ready this year. In just a few months.
Meantime, former DNC Vice Chair David Hogg, who also spoke yesterday, is repeating his calls to primary Democratic incumbents, and that's rubbed some party leaders the wrong way. Bill.
Madeline Rivera live in D.C. for us this morning. Madeline, thank you.
David Hogg ruffling feathers inside the party? Now that's interesting. When a Gen Z activist starts calling out entrenched Democrats, it signals real internal frictions. Could this be a generational revolt brewing from within?
Democrats Julian Epstein, thank you both for coming on this morning. Julian, I'll go ahead and start with you. Democrats have said they're kind of in a rebuilding year right now. They're trying to find their identity, their party leader. In your opinion, is a couple of minutes of Kamala Harris on video pre-recorded, is that the sort of thing that's going to get Democrats fired up right now?
No, I think Kamala Harris is part of the problem. I think she was viewed by most voters as being incompetent and being way too far left.
And here it comes. Julian's about to go off. Whether you agree or not, listen closely to how he frames the Democratic Party's crisis. Ask yourself, is this brutal honesty or political performance art?
First problem. The second problem they have is voters don't like the sound of the Democrats. It's the forever grievance party, the forever obstructionist party. And third, the Democrats have the problem of integrity, which we've been trying to Paul Revere. Some of us, a few of us, have been trying to Paul Revere the last few years. And the cover-up of Biden's incompetence, the cover-up of a scandal in plain sight, it has also damaged the party. So you talk about their rebuilding, Bill. They don't really have a plan to rebuild because they're so internally divided. They're in the middle of a Cold War right now, so there's no clear plan. You go out on the street outside of the studio, I guarantee you 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 voters will have no idea what Democrats stand for.
Yeah, more to that point, when you look at this video of Kamala Harris speaking, they made sure to put her gender pronouns on there, saying she, her. How do you think Republicans viewed this speech, if that's what you want to call it, yesterday?
I have to say that's the first thing that I noticed, unfortunately. And I just, to Julian's point, I agree. I think that the identity politics proved to be a failure for Democrats in the last cycle and will continue to be if they don't shift their messaging to an actual plan. I think that, if there's going to be grievances and you're only going to run against Donald Trump, well, he's a lame duck president. So what are you going to be for? And I don't think the Democrats have figured that out. They have continued to harp on things being a mess and corrupt and wrong and all the things that they could think of negative. But that starts to go numb if you don't have anything to say what you're working towards. And as members of Congress, especially, go back to their districts here in August, they need to be talking to the people who elected them. What are you doing to lead? What are you doing to make lives better and bring down the cost of living. And I don't know that what Kamala Harris is serving is really what they're looking to pick up, because it's not a plan. It's just more of the same that they voted against in 24.
Yeah, and in the meantime, ex-Biden Chief of Staff Ron Klain, he's been answering.
Here's where it gets messy. Kamala's leadership is being questioned, Congress is heading back to their districts, and there's one big elephant in the room. What exactly is the game plan? Seriously, comment below. What would you pitch as the Democrats' message heading into 2026?
Over his viability in the election. Julian, as a Democrat, are you satisfied with the answers that you've been getting from the former Biden team, even though it really only seems to be coming from Ron Klain?
No, and Ron is a friend of mine. He's a good guy. But what Ron is trying to do, and it's better than what the other staff did, is he's saying that Biden couldn't remember small things like names, but he was competent on big things. Well, that's not really true. Biden didn't know what his general's position was on Afghanistan. He didn't know that the liquid natural gas pause was an actual pause rather than a study. He thought it was a study. He thought Congress had passed student loan relief. He messed up on. He didn't seem to have a grasp on big things. So while Ron, I think, is good to answer questions, he's parsing in a way that is incredible. And again, there's a very few of us, who were warning the Democrats about this for 2 years, and people didn't listen. They got into a groupthink and they deluded themselves. They thought they were gaslighting the public, but they didn't. Nobody believed them, and this is part of the problem of the party's brand right now.
And Maura, we got about a minute left here. With Ron Klain essentially being the only one answering questions.
Ron Klain testimony may sound like a defense, but legally, it's fascinating. Others are pleading the fifth. While he subtly admits Biden forgot key decisions, not criminal yet, but politically. This might be laying groundwork for an exit narrative if they spiral tequazet.
For Democrats at large, that the Biden family, continues to stick their necks out into the spotlight like Hunter Biden did this week. I think it creates more problems. But Ron Klain, I believe he spoke up because to try and counter that, to say, yes, of course we saw some issues there. But I look forward to when Anita Dunn comes in next month, because she's the one that wanted him to go, the president, to do the debate in June of last year. And I think that's really what I'm curious to learn about, who's making decisions.
Yeah, and what a catastrophic decision that ended up being, to have that debate early like that. Julian, Maura, great to see you both. Thanks for coming on. Happy Saturday to you guys.